Alright, so the last test we have is the mechanical resistance. What do we mean by that? I'm going to be running a polisher first with a very soft foam pad and just a polish cleaner down these areas here that have the most protection still clinging to it, and then I'll make a return trip and see if we can remove these permanent marker dots here, and if they still exist we'll move up to a bit more of an aggressive pad and a medium polish, and if they still are hanging on we'll go to a harsh compound and a very aggressive pad to finish them off. We're going to start out with perfect polish, which is a very fine polish and a cleaner, and we're going to use a very soft polishing finishing pad. One trip over, one trip back. See what it takes to finish these off. Now we're starting to get somewhere with these permanent marker spots. Very interesting. Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to wipe off the residue and then grab my IPA, make sure the residue from the polish is completely removed, and we'll move on. Okay, so the Cmx area pretty much has no protection left whatsoever. So the battle continues on between these two, and this is very impressive that we even are still talking about Meguiar's in this type of test. Moving right along, medium polish and a more aggressive pad, but first let's test and see what kind of water repellency and hydrophobic properties these areas still contain. Okay, a little bit more aggressive pad, the Euro 50/50, and a medium cut compound. This time, instead of one trip, I'm going to work all of these areas and see if I can remove the coatings completely with a medium cut. seeing what I'm seeing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now, the interesting part here as we have the residue removed is Cmx. What was supposed to be protecting the permanent marker underneath, it's gone. Let's go over to DPC. You know, there's a couple areas left here, but what really has thrown me for a loop is the protection on the Meguiar side throughout the whole day of testing here. Actually kind of shocking to me. All right, when it comes to mechanical resistance, mechanical torturing, just because Meguiar's is still hanging around and has protection on top of that permanent marker where the others don't. So, overall, DPC is more consistent all the way through, but just having Megs win in a category and still hanging around at the end of this day is... I mean, it speaks for itself. What else can I say? The disappointment to me, like I said, I had a preconceived notion before we started, and I was wrong. Cmx did not hold up to the test as I thought it would. So there you have it. DPC, more consistent all the way through. And, you know, Meguiar's, hey, they get some recognition for just holding in there, hanging in there throughout the day. And before we end the video for the day, just some bonus footage. We cleaned off the area with an IP solution, panel prep, IGL, pre-coat, just to make sure we had all of the residue from the chemicals and the polishes and the compounds. And now we'll do a water repellency test before we end the day.
Each one has its own characteristic as far as what it does, and it's really up to the individual what they're looking for in these products.
Okay, for one more added bonus, we do have to finish filling in the gloss readings after testing was completed, so let's start. Meguiar's, a 93.8 after it was cured. Let's see if that changed. That dropped down to a 91.0. Okay, DPC. 92.2. So kind of held its own and didn't drop very far even after all this torture. And Cmx. Biggest drop of all at 89.7. Total readings, Cmx had the biggest drop. DPC held its own pretty well. And we had a couple points of a drop for Megs. And for the final thoughts segment of the video, where do I begin? Well, first of all, this was just for fun. The only real way to keep track of durability is to apply to 3 separate vehicles, attach a camera to each one, and record for 6 months straight. I apply them, send them out, and when I get them back in a few months for maintenance, I can inspect then. But in the meantime, we can have some fun, put them on the same panel, and that's what we did. Those were the results. They are subjective. So take them for what they are. It wasn't anything scientific, just something to have a ball with because we use these products, enjoy them. When it comes to the 3, CMX was a bit of a disappointment. I had a preconceived notion of the 3 when it started, and it was quite different from the ending. The CMX faded, and when it comes to the DPC armor, that was consistent all the way through, consistent protection throughout the panel, and you can tell it has a higher concentration. When it comes to Meguiar's, it hung in there, and it should get all the credit in the world for what it is. How it's applied, you're not going to get a perfect area of coverage. It's going to be blotchy, some sections more than others. But it is there. It's a real deal. It's not junk. But Scott's came out on top, and using the products in the real world, I come to the same conclusion. You know, Scott's of the 3 is the best. CMX is also there, but Meguiar's cannot be counted out for what it is, the price and the ease of use. It's not total scrap. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. I do want to start a series that compares these Sio2 spray coatings to just regular polymer coatings. Is there a difference? Do they protect so much better? Well, let's find out. If you want me to do so, comment down in the comments section, and we'll put something together. Until then, Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.